This is What's Good Fam, the Midnight Echo, where real thoughts hit different after dark. Late night conversations, real talk, and we got everything from the midnight rotation to the night owl news. It's your host, the infamous night owl himself, DJ Dex Double X, and if you're up right now, you already know what time it is. Let's echo in. What's good to my early birds and what's good to my night owls? It's the infamous night owl himself, DJ Dex Double X, and this is What's Good Fam, the Midnight Echo. I want to welcome you to Season 2, Episode 8, titled, What Are Men Carrying? So, before we get any further, I just want to let y'all know this is going to be another special one because we got the big homie Miss Nunu from Naked to the Core podcast jumping on with this one. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, I like this one. I like how this one went. So before we get into it, I gotta do like I normally do before we get started. Always gotta do my shout outs. So I want to say, hey, quick shout out to everybody supporting Midnight Echo. Everybody sharing the clips, reposting episodes, showing love on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Clubhouse, and beyond. And yes, I said Clubhouse because guess what? We're going to be streaming on Clubhouse. I will be going live and I will be having people jump on. Even have some people from outside trying to jump on as well, all right? So make sure y'all echo in, man. Let me know how y'all feel about that. We can really get some good conversations going on, but I just want to say I appreciate y'all wholeheartedly, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with Season 2 because guess what? We are just getting started, all right? So listen, before we get any further, I'm going to do the midnight rotation first, okay? Now, the reason why I'm going to do the midnight rotation first is because the Night Owl News is going to run exactly into what we're going to be talking about tonight. So without further ado, let's do it. All right. So, hey, I was not expecting this album right here, but my man's Paul Wall dropped that Fortune and Glory. And I'm not even going to lie, I'm feeling this whole album, especially he got this one song in here called Good News, Bad News. And I ain't gonna lie, for whatever reason, man, this song really just stuck with me. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it a little bit. Hold on. The same people cheering for you sometimes end up on the stand screaming. They scheming to take your spot, beware the demons. It's a dirty game and ain't no spring cleaning. A different upbringing combined with different. Yeah, man. Listen, I gotta admit, man, the whole album's riding. He got Slim Thug, Lil Keke. He even got production from DJ Fresh. And I believe his wife, Chris Wall, she's on here too as well. And listen, man, the whole album from start to end is just bumping. All right, so shout out to Paul Wall for this lovely album, man. Definitely wasn't expecting it, but yo, I give it 5 out of 5, man. Dope album, all right? Real dope album. So next, my man's Larry June went ahead and dropped that brand new track called The Machinist. Now,
Don't hit me on no motherfucking main shit on that.
kind of feeling it, just give me that some Cali vibes. Of course, that's what we're from. So, hey. We got some new Larry coming out for the summer. All right, I like that. The Machinist. Let's do it. All right, we got Larry June blessing us with some hot new music for the summer. All right, so I know that album he about to drop is going to be banging. All right, I'm still going to ask this question to the day to the day this happens. All right, I'm gonna need for my man Currency, Ellie Dollar. Let's get a Jet Life and Steak and Shrimp compilation album, man. I've been waiting for this to happen for a very long time. They both, rap together and done things together. So, why not do a joint album together? Because I believe that would be the dopest thing on this planet. You gotta have production from DJ Fresh. You gotta have production from DJ Mr. Rogers, Harry Fraud, The Alchemist, and the list goes on. Even, you gotta even get Cooking Soul on there too as well. You gotta have some crazy features. Mussolini, of course, Larry June and the whole TFM fam. Payroll, Giovanni. Oh, gotta have Cardo. Cardo got Wings Beast too. All right, my bad, Cardo. Forgot about you, my guy. But hey, gotta have him on there as well. Gotta have the whole lineup, and I know it'd be stupid, something crazy for the summer. All right, so LE Dollar, Currency. If y'all hear this, please let's go ahead and drop a good one for the summer. All right. For those that feel the same way I do, when I post this, make sure y'all echo in. Y'all spam their comments under their posts. Like, jet life, steak and shrimp. Let's do it. All right. I'm dead serious about this. So, all right. Now let's go ahead and jump into what I call the Night Owl News. One story, one conversation, one late night thought. June is Men's Mental Health Month, all right? And while everybody talks about success, discipline, being strong, we don't always talk about what happens when men are struggling. We don't always talk about burnout, loneliness, pressure, responsibility, or the fact that a lot of men are expected to carry heavy things without ever being taught where to put the weight down. I want to send a huge shout out to his brother. He's on Instagram. I love his reels. He says a lot of relatable things that I can either laugh at but also nod my head like, you know what, I've been in that situation too. Dangerfield Media, aka his name is Desmond Dangerfield. Shout out to the brother, by the way. Yes, shout out to the brother, by the way. You know, and in honor of Men's Mental Health Month, he decided to open up and talk about his experiences with his mental health. So tonight's Night Owl News is a little different. Usually I talk about something happening in the world. Tonight I want to talk about something that happened to me. I decided to open up and talk about my own, mental health issues and, how I was able to get back to a better headspace, So there was a period in my life where it felt like everything was just changing at once, good stretch of, I want to say, at least the last 5 or 6 years, it's been a lot of changes, a relationship ended and it really had a serious toll on my mental health. It did, because a lot of self-doubt started to creep up in the back of my mind, and even as time progressed, a decision needed to be made, and it was a decision that I, at that time, did not want to make. And, there were times where I regretted, but there was also times where I know it was something that had to be done, and even behind that, friendships were starting to end. It was wild because, these were people I've known since I was like 16, 17 years old. We've hung out together, we've talked about personal things with each other, we've been at each other's house, chased after women, or, just friends in general, and just to see how silly little arguments could just end, years and years of friendship. But not only that, sides being chose, and, watching a lot of my friends, or people that I thought were my friends, kind of turn into snakes on me, you know what I'm saying? And try to use me as propaganda to get, female attention and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, we still doing that? It's crazy, And not even that, a podcast I have poured my time into. Like I said, I used to do the new content podcast, and for those that don't know, it used to be a 3-man group, but due to the falling out of friends, turned to a 2-man. And then, there was a lot of chaos behind the scenes too as well, trying to get everything up and running again, and trying to find people to jump on. And then, after a while, it started to feel like it was more of a 1-man team. And I was just like, I'm getting burnt out. On top of that, I'm still working almost 6-7 days, 12 hours. The economy was getting crazy. Rent was starting to get a little high. So, had to kick it in gear and do what I needed to do, thug it out. So, there was people I thought that would always be around. They slowly started to disappear. And that goes back to me and that, relationship ending. I always thought that person would be around, but, it just kind of, dawned on me one day that I'm probably never going to see this person ever again. Not to mention even people I've known for years. Like, yeah, that was kind of a breaker right there, And not to mention this gender war that started, seems like, a lot of people didn't like my views, I guess, on the whole thing behind it, because I was, I guess, one of the rare people to say, like, yo, both sides make mistakes. Why are we doing all this and going back and forth, But I saw how it affected, those that used to be around me, because, I ended up becoming the target. I can't tell you how many times I heard the word misogynistic so much. It just got so tiring for even just having an opinion, It just turned into an all-out battle and war, And And what really didn't make it any better was once I stumbled upon the red pill and the black manosphere. And I ended up stumbling, upon these pages on YouTube and starting to hear about it when I first noticed the word red pill. I was like, what's the red pill? So, I didn't think nothing of it. I just typed it in, a couple of videos popped up, and I just put my phone away. But it was one person that caught my attention. And it wasn't Kevin Samuels. No, this guy named Steph So Cold. And watching a lot of his videos and how, he would kind of like antagonize men a little bit, but also do it to kind of, get you to realize like, yo, man, this is your life. Take control of your life, And yes, they did talk about relationships. Yes, they did talk about the statistics when it come down to women and the cheating and the lying as well, because they pointed out just as much as they claim men cheat, women cheat just as much, and it was just on so much discussions, right? Now there was some bad discussions and there were some good discussions, right? But everybody had opinions, everybody had advice, everybody had something to believe in when it came down to this, this, I guess you could call it fraternity, especially in the black manosphere, because it was good to see that there were other people going through the same type of things that I was going through. Now, I didn't stumble across these pages because I was angry and I wanted to find people talking down on women. Of course not. I wanted answers to questions that I couldn't even answer myself. I wanted to know why I was upset, why I was always in situations, what's going on, why I can't seem to get to that next phase of life, And this is how I found this community. Yes, there were some bad images, being pushed. There were some things I listened to, but the right material, not the toxic material, a lot of the whole comparisons of being like Future or being like some of these rappers out here. And I never wanted to ever go that route, even though around that time I decided to stay single after that situation because I wanted to work on me. I wanted to find me. But it was just a constant going back and forth, and once people found out I liked this content and I watched some of the red pill stuff, and me even mentioning the book by Rollo Tomasi, The Rational Male, would just set people off like, oh my God, why are you reading that book? You are misogynistic. You think women are this and women should be subject. No, instead of them actually asking my stance on it, they would just verbally attack out of nowhere, just like boom. No straight going to it, and these were people I was close with. Even when I was going through that whole situation, it was like nobody ever really stopped and asked me like, yo, are you okay? Nobody wanted to listen about anything I had to say, anything that I might quote from either one of these guys from the black manosphere or even Kevin Samuels himself. Because I was a big believer, like, yo, sometimes you got to hear the brutal, ugly truth about yourself in order for you to make the necessary changes. But people weren't trying to hear that. They just wanted to they just wanted to know, hey, why is he talking bad about black women? That's all they wanted to hear. And I'm not trying to make this into no red pill content, trust me. And there's a reason why I brought this up. And going back to what I said before, like even with people asking me if I am okay. I would try to at least open up, and about 5 minutes into the conversation, they done switched it about themselves. They want to talk about what they've been going through, what they've been dealing with, and all this stuff. Man. So it kind of helped me just realize that not everybody's going to be my friends, It was just frustrating knowing that all this was happening. But as much as I've seen so many people talking about, being there for their friends and reaching out and wanting to talk and stuff, there were situations where I wanted to talk about it, but nobody wanted to listen. And after a while, I just got tired of it. And with me finding that content and that type of atmosphere, it helped me realize that, yes, of course, I got to take control of my own life and do what I need to do to get to the next point, grow, learn, taking care of your body, going to the gym, working out, learning new trades, learning new skills, being able to apply new things to your life to be able to, move yourself further, reading more books, studying up on more things. all that came, and some of those answers came from books, like I said before. Rollo Tomassi and The Rational Male. I have at least listened to that book about 3 or 4 times already on Audible, and just taking in a lot of what he was saying, it actually helped me navigate through life. And it came with some self-improvement as well, and some came from conversations with people who have also been through similar experiences. It was good to actually talk to certain people who have actually went through some of those experiences in dating or just dealing with people in general, and knowing that I wasn't the only one out here, and it felt really good. And whether I agreed with everything or not, the biggest lesson I learned was this: nobody was coming to save me. And as men, we all know that nobody's coming to save us. Even when I was falling apart on the inside, nobody knew. I woke up every day, washed my face, brushed my teeth, put on my clothes, and got in my car and said the same thing I always say every day: let's just make it through the day. Let's thug this shit out, So from there, that was me rebuilding myself, learning accountability, and learning to rediscipline myself. I had to learn how to let go of people who were only meant to be in my life for a season. And looking back, I think that's why this men's mental health conversation matters, because sometimes a man can be falling apart in plain sight. And everybody notices the opinion, everybody notices the controversy, everybody notices the mistakes, but nobody notices the pain. Coming from the man's side, maybe that's what a lot of men are carrying, not just pressure, not just responsibility, but the feeling that nobody really sees what they're going through. And I can honestly say, nobody saw what I was really going through. And I did what I always have to do: thug that shit out. Started going to the gym more. You know what I'm saying? I started reading more. Started trying to do more, like learn new skills, learn new trades. Try to apply myself more and more instead of just saying, hey, I'm just trying to go to work and survive. Nah, there's more to life than that. Shout out to the people who have to do the work by themselves. That's what it, that takes real skill, a lot of willpower. And I can honestly say it can be aggravating in the beginning, but once you really start to get it down pat, life really starts to take off with you. You know what I'm saying? And what I was saying, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful towards nobody. Of course not. Like I said, I get it. People come, people go. That's just the way life is. Now, that was the reason why I brought up the red pill content. And hey, fellas, hear me out on this one, all right? And I know I've said this before because I've called us out on this before. The red pill content is not a space you're supposed to stay in. It's a space where you come, rediscover yourself, find out what works for you, what doesn't, know about the game and how it's being played. And after that, you leave and you go on your own journey. And on the previous episode, when I was talking with Miss New, I noticed I was kind of slick going in on women when it comes down to these cult-like, things they be doing when it comes down to their favorite celebrities. And I feel like I missed the marker when it came down to holding us accountable as well. And that's one thing I can say we need to really start holding ourselves accountable about. When it really comes down to this whole going back and forth and arguing with women, and of course leaving some of these comments under these pictures too as well, you gotta understand, man, we're still operating in that same place of anger that we've been in, what is also called the red pill rage. All right. It's time to let some of that stuff go. All right. Because right now, as much as women don't want to admit it, they need us. We need them as well. All right. We need to really start coming together and start letting these things go, because this whole continuously cycling through, what we've learned within the whole manosphere and red pill community is getting kind of old now. It's time for us to drop it, because it is starting to become somewhat of a cult-like experience as well. I was one of the guys who I love listening to the content. I love listening and learning about new things. But one thing I wasn't going to do was going to be out here bashing women, talking down on them, because we all have to understand there are good women, there are bad women as well. And we ain't no better. There's been a lot of messing up on our side. There's been a lot of craziness that we are still out here doing. And like I said before, that some of the comments, especially dealing with Miss Ashley Janae, and once again, condolences to her and her family, and some of the stuff they were saying, I get it, fellas. Maybe we could say eye for an eye, because We all know, there were women who celebrated the death of Kevin Samuels. Though it was wrong, we have to be better than that. What happened to her was unfortunate. And we also have to remember, she's a human being, okay? She has loved ones, people who cared about her. These people are never going to see her again. She might have said some very disparaging thing about black men. Hey, if that's how she feels, so be it. I would never wish death on anyone. But one thing we have to stop doing, fellas, we have to let go of that pain. We have to let go of that hurt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are not going to get those apologies that we rightly feel that we deserve. Yes, we've done the work. Yes, we've grown to be better people, but if we're still operating in that same place of hurt and anger, yo, man, we're still being stuck, and we're only doing nothing but holding ourselves back. And I had to learn that. So one thing I just want to say, hey, we're also doing the same thing as well. I get it. We have to protect ourselves. We also have to let it be known that our opinions matter too. But when it's all said and done, we have really got to stop this and just, let it be. We already know there are going to be women who are going to listen to us. And there's going to be those who are not going to listen to us. It might feel like it's a large number. It is what it is. But we're not going to sit here and keep arguing within the comments, calling women stupid and calling them out of their names. Far worse names. Nothing they say can really just hurt or trigger you that badly, unless you're still holding on to that pain of what somebody did to you before. And that's just all I wanted to say, fellas. Now, on this podcast that we're about to drop right now, this is a very special one. We as in me and Ms. Nunu, shout out to Ms. Nunu. Yes, from the Naked to the Core podcast. Matter of fact, she's going to be dropping a new episode this Tuesday coming up, and I may be on there, all right? So make sure y'all echo in and check it out, all right? She always talks about some great topics, and some of them be a little bit out there, but hey, it's all for fun, all right? But yes, me and her, we had a conversation talking about Men's Mental Health Month, and surprise, she had no idea about the red pill or the black manosphere for that matter. So I had to put her on game. And we, of course, went live on the Clubhouse app, and we actually had some people who decided to, tap in and listen to what we was talking about. So, shout out to those that actually, came through and checked us out. I appreciate y'all. But on this podcast, I decided to ask her some questions about, us as men and see if she can give me some really good answers. And I can honestly tell y'all, she gave me some really great answers. Some of them, I was just like, you know what? That's the type of woman most men need nowadays. One that's understanding, one that's, emotionally intelligent, one that's actually available, to be a safe space for a man. So, I ain't going to delay it too much further. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I just want y'all to, hear, check it out. And like I said, we go live on the Clubhouse. So if y'all ever want to echo in and check us out and just have a conversation, make sure y'all let us know in the comments. All right. So here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to another live episode taping of What's Good Fam, the Midnight Echo. And tonight we're going to be talking about a very, very interesting topic. What are men carrying? But before we go any further, of course, I got to introduce my co-host, Miss Nunu, for tonight, everybody. Y'all get it for Miss Nunu.
Thank you for having me again.
Oh, again, come on, man. You gotta sound a little bit more enthusiastic when you say all that now. Come on. You excited. Like, yeah, you chilling with the night owls tonight now, okay? So don't be like that.
Oh, boy.
So, but yes, I appreciate you coming back on the show. I do. I most definitely do. Of course, y'all know Ms. Nunu has her own podcast as well, Naked to the Core. Y'all give it up for that as well.
Hey.
Shout out to the group members as well. What are their names again, by the way?
Ken and Ash.
All right, Ken and Ash. Nice to meet y'all. I ain't formally met you.
Ken.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Ken and Ash. Nice. I thought you said N. My bad. I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay. My bad, Ken. Hey, shout out to Ken. And you said one of them was recently came down kind of ill, right?
Yeah, that was Ken.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ken, hope you're feeling well. Get well, brother. Get well. All right. So, of course, for those that was listening last time with the last episode we was talking about, I feel like we had to do a part 2, and that because the direction the episode went, I feel like I was taking a little bit more aim towards the women, and by all means, that was not an episode to bash or talk down on any women. Once again, shout out to Miss Meg Stallion. No disrespect or anything like that to you. So shout out to Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody that got a little offended, my bad. Just conversation. But I did have to make some points, and one thing I do feel like I missed the mark on, I kind of missed out on talking about the men. So my fault. I dropped the ball on that one. So of course we had to do a part 2, because guess what, fellas, it's our turn. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. Of course, in honor of it being Men's Mental Health Month, we're gonna talk a little bit about that as well. But since we have Miss Nunu on the line as well, she can also talk about mental health from a female standpoint. That's cool.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to be sure. But the reason why we call this "What Are Men Carrying" is because it started with this simple question: when was the last time somebody asked if a man was okay and actually meant it? We hear that a lot online. A lot of men saying, "Yo, man, nobody really be checking up on me besides maybe a few people here and there." Last time we talked about how we see women crashing out and going into like a cult type of thing when they see something happening with their favorite celebrities, Cardi B, Meg Stallion, whatever. So one thing I can say, right, and I'm going to bring this up. I know this was a very controversial topic when this first all came about: the red pill. The red pill. Now listen, everybody knows about it. It's been talked about, for those that have heard, known. We all know about the famous Kevin Samuels, even though he himself said he was not a part of the red pill, but a lot of his ideologies lined up with it. And right there, I can honestly say, when I stumbled across this back in like 2021, what came behind it was something known as the Black Manosphere. Where a lot of men, black men, will come together and we talk about a lot of the issues that we're facing, as far as our own masculinity, as far as, dealing with women in today's day and age, anything and everything that most men cannot talk about with women, but with another guy, because we would understand. And behind a lot of that, there was a bit of a cult following going on. And let me tell you why. Because there was a lot of messages being thrown out there. And depending on what message you was listening to, that's how you took it. Because when I came across this whole red pill ideology thing, they had this thing called the red pill rage. And they break it down to, per se, if you're somebody who's been struggling with dating and you're classified as what's a simp, they would break down a lot of the things that you was doing that led to your own downfall. And once you realized that it was your own fault and you played your own hand in that because of, how you were in that relationship, you experienced the anger behind it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of experienced that as well once I sat down and realized, a lot of things that was happening was because of my own doing. And from there, it kind of makes you look at women differently, because of course you're bitter right now at that point in time. So it kind of started as a little bit as a cult following, right? Because I didn't know or realize it was so many angry men out here. And it's not funny because there was a lot of people who was dealing with some real life things that, they couldn't talk about with nobody else. And depending on who you listen to when it came down to that type of environment, you had some that gave good advice. They told you straight. And then you had some that came with the toxicness behind it, and they would tell you to pay attention to certain rappers, right? Of course, the most famous one being Future. Everybody,
Yeah, I figured he would be the one.
Shout out to Future, by the way. Right. A lot of people.
Toxic.
But was you really though? Was you really though? That's the question.
Yes.
Come on now. Why was he?
absolutely.
Why was he?
I think he would even agree. He's the most toxic one.
He said it himself. He said, "I'm not toxic. They're toxic."
Nah. You gotta know you're toxic.
Oh, come on now.
No. I ain't with that one. So yeah, Future's definitely toxic.
Okay. Well, hey, some people say he is, some people say he isn't. He say he isn't. Women say he is. Hey, we don't know, right? But he was one of them, of course. He was one of them that, you know, a lot of these quote unquote gurus would tell you to pay attention to. And there was a lot of other pushback on that too, because I was like, listen, this is not the definition of being a man. Okay.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with dating and getting to know and respecting boundaries. Okay. But as a man, you yourself have to find your way, find your path, you know, build upon yourself, figure out what works
Right.
for you, what doesn't, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. That's what the whole originality of the black manosphere was. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
behind all that, a lot of people were still dealing with what I was saying before with the red pill rage. You know, a lot of people were angry at, you know, whatever woman they dealt with. And I even talked about this on a previous episode where they talked about Miss Ashley Janae. You remember her?
Who?
Her name was Ashley Janae, the one that was she quote unquote committed suicide, but they are trying to say that her fiance had something to do with it. I don't know if you heard that story.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
Right. So you had a lot of brothers who was in the comments kind of being like, hey man, she decided to, you know, date this guy, even though he was a white guy, and they tried to bring up like old tweets she said about black men, and of course some things she said about Kevin Samuels. You know, and I ain't gonna lie, she did say some kind of rather messed up things, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, I didn't let it affect me, because it's like, first of all, I don't even know this woman. All right, I don't know what she's dealt with dealing with them brothers, but at the end of the day, she also chose to deal with those brothers. All right, so it is what it is. Let her be angry, let her be mad. So but you know, just seeing how, you know, a lot of people were saying that she didn't commit suicide, but a lot of the brothers who I feel like were still operating within that red pill rage was like, man, I don't care. She made that decision. I mean, look what she said about black men. Why should I care? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, listen, you still have to understand this is a human being that lost their life in an unexpected way.
Right.
You know, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of stuck with it, because when it became like a cult following, a lot of brothers really just had no regards for women at all. It was like, yo, whatever situation you get yourself in, that's on you. Now that is true. But when you start verbally attacking them in the comments and saying kind of disparaging things, I'm like, all right, first of all, now, one thing that was always slick preached in the red pill: this is not a space for you to stay in. You know, in the black manosphere, they even said this themselves. This was not a space for you to stay in. This was a space for you to, you know, find yourself, you know, get yourself back out there, and then from there you leave and go on about your business. You know, but I feel like that cult following of a lot of brothers who are still angry and upset by either whatever relationship or whatever blows life have dealt them, you know, has kind of kept them there in that space, you know. So as much as I went in on the women who was crashing out over Meg Stallion or Cardi B or the other followings, the Beehive and all that other stuff, I'll say one thing I can say: when it came down to a lot of the cult following stuff that we was doing as men, we were just as worse. Just as worse. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to speak on that, Miss Nunu?
I don't want to speak on that.
Why not?
Because actually, to be honest, I never really came across that. Like, I mean, I come across the whole gender wars thing, but right. I've never come across that. Like, this is actually news to me.
Really? So you never heard about the black manosphere, or, you know, the whole red pill? Wow, that's crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
Nope.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I came across it by accident, and it just ever since then, like I said, I started watching Kevin Samuels, and this was way before he, started allowing women to call the show. But watching him, like I said on the last episode, grill man and tell him like, yo man, you a grown ass man, what are you doing with your life? Get your ass up and do something about it. Don't sit here calling my show saying women don't want to talk to you. I wouldn't want to talk to you because you ain't doing nothing with your life. He used to really give it to him. So
that's good. You should hold the men accountable just as you hold women accountable.
And there you go. That's what I was saying before. Like, as much as I was saying, women should hold themselves accountable for the things that they crash out about, we should be doing the same as well. We should be honoring the fact that we still might be holding on to some anger or, bitterness about some situation that happened like 10 years ago. It's just time to let it go. But just thinking about it, when it goes back to how I was saying, of course, it's like Men's Mental Health Month and everything. Well, before we go any further, do you have any other questions about this? Like, the whole thing, the red pill, the black manosphere, everything?
No, not really. I mean, I'm just soaking this all in because, like I said, the stuff that I come across is more so like when people are just going in on each other on certain posts and stuff. Like, that's the most that I've come across, but I've never come across this stuff. Like, this is really it's intriguing me because I did not know that there was a male cult like situation going on. Like, what?
Yeah. It's wild, it's wild.
And I honestly don't. I feel like it's something that I haven't come across because I don't generally deal with men who like do stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Doing into stuff like that because I feel like that's emotional driven.
Right.
So that's really interesting. I expect it from us because a lot of us, we do ride off of our emotions, but
right.
Not the men. I don't. That's blowing me.
Wow.
It's blowing me.
Yeah. I can honestly say, since then, slightly, but you still see, like, with some of the videos of some of the content creators I watch, I still sometimes watch and see what some of the men are saying in the comments, and I just like, dang, what I'm saying, some of these brothers is doing good with life. Others, you can still see they holding on to that anger. You know what I'm saying? Let it go.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I was saying, even though that does feel like a cult-like movement, and with it being June, of course, Men's Mental Health Month, and I feel like that also had a lot to do with the whole situation as well, as to why so many people went into that type of atmosphere, because it goes to like what I was saying before. You had people like Kevin Samuels, and there were multiple others besides him too. There was one I used to watch too. His name was Steph So Cold. And sometimes he do like these really crazy crying sound effects. And he would do it to like be poking at you, like, yeah, that's how you sound right now. Why are you doing all this crying right now? But it was what was needed, for you as a man. This wasn't things for women to listen to, but as a man, what you would need to hear another man say to you, which goes back to what I was saying about it being mental health. Like, so many, I guess, brothers was dealing with things that they couldn't really talk about and deal with, because there's always been the conversation within this atmosphere about self-improvement, like a conversation about men and how we try to do so much to self-improve ourselves. And honestly, it's, you know, something I think is worth talking about, because as much as get online and get up every day and try to talk about, you know, self-improving and doing better in our lives, it's not something that we, I guess, celebrate as much. Well, let me ask you from a woman's point of view about that self-improvement. You know, how you think that deals with y'all mental health as well?
It's a lot of moments where I go to war with myself. So it does get in the way sometimes, because, you know, you're used to being one way. And when you're trying to improve yourself or you're trying to elevate, there's always something there to kind of like bring you back around full circle to that person that you're trying not to be no more.
I'm trying to tell you.
But I mean, because it's always life is a test. So it's always tests involved. So it's always something that will get in the way. It's always an obstacle that'll get in your way of self-improvement. But it's all about intention. Like, what is it that if you stay intentional about what it is that you're trying to do to improve yourself, then you'll eventually master it. But it's always something. It's always something that gets in the way of the self-improvement. But it's up to us to be accountable and intentional with continuing to evolve. And that's how I feel, regarding that. But I mean, I'm always trying to do something to self-improve. But it's just always that comfortability is always just so easy to go back to. You know, it's always so easy to slip back into that comfortable, that comfortable way of life that you're used to living, because you don't have to do any work to be comfortable.
Right.
So, you know,
that's true. Yeah, that's I guess that's one thing that I always go back to, because even with me trying to do this podcast, because I'll be honest, right, you already know I be working them 12, 13 days.
Yeah.
Be clocking in, clocking out, come home, try to work on this podcast and work on these goals and ideas. It's like, man, it's like you try to stay motivated, but, you know, at the end of the day, you be getting tired. Like, I can't do this
shit. Yeah. Yeah. But if you want, like, if you got that
drive,
dream in your mind, and you're adamant about achieving those goals that you set, I mean, you gonna push through it.
For sure.
And I know it gets hard sometimes to keep pushing through, because your body is like, oh my God, I have to reset, man. I have to reset.
Gotta keep fighting.
Yeah, but I mean, you ain't gonna get to. I mean, you gotta keep going. you have to. You have to.
That's facts.
You can't slack off.
Yeah, that's the hard part right there. It just be the moments you be like, oh man, I gotta just sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I read, I came across this post online, and I don't know, like I said, sometimes I be feeling like these people be saying things for clickbait, you know. But
yeah, of course, they rage bait all the time.
But even then, sometimes I be feeling like, do people really be feeling like this? But there was a post where I seen, it was like a combination of both women, and then of course you got men from the LGBTQ side, and they were trying to say that brothers that go to the gym are gay.
Brothers that go to the gym are gay.
Yes, they were trying to say men that go to the gym a lot are gay.
Or maybe that's where they find their outlet. Maybe that's where their safe space is. Because at the same time of having a place to go and feel like they're safe within their mental space, they're also taking care of their shell for their body.
Right.
So how the hell does a person going to the gym? Men can't do shit. Let me just say that.
Hey, you finally said it.
How are you gay if you go to the gym a lot? The hell?
And see, that goes back to what I'm saying about the mental health part, because it's like us as men, we can't do nothing without the word gay being thrown in that mix. Like even with some of the stuff that we see, once again, clickbait, rage bait, whatever you want to call it, one woman said, if a man knows how to cook, he's automatically gay to me, because how do you know how to cook better than a woman or something? I was like, what?
Because he gotta eat.
Maybe he a cook. You know what I'm saying? Throw down in the kitchen. Ain't that?
Yeah, I know there are plenty of male chefs.
Right.
Does that make them gay because they are male chefs? Like they chose that line of work, so that makes them gay. I don't be understand. I really do think there's a lot of this stuff that people post is for people to click on and react to and respond to, because that does not make any sense. There are women who go to the gym a lot too.
Right.
Does that make them gay? I mean, I don't understand.
Hey,
I'm so lost.
Hey, you preaching to the wrong choir. Because I don't know what this is or whatever this is, this attack that seems to always be going on when it comes down to, I guess, us as black men. Because after a while it starts to get old. It's like, listen, man, I understand. It goes back to what I said about the whole cult like thing and why I feel like this whole gender war just keeps going and going and going. We know that there are angry people out here. There are still bitter people out here. And when you have men who are just trying to improve themselves, even women too, and I get it, sometimes there are personal attacks against women that are trying to improve themselves from men, and by all means, my apologies, because I'm not one. Hey, if you're trying to change your life and do right, hey, nothing but hand claps for you, because
right,
sometimes starting is the hardest thing.
Yep.
So shout out to those that are doing it, both men and women. But even when you see like, okay, let me give you an example. I don't know how true this show is, right? But I've talked about this show before, that Pop the Balloon show.
Okay.
Now let's talk about that for a minute, right? Because I mentioned it before and how much I didn't like the show, right? Now, from my standpoint, I see a lot more of the brothers that get on there and they have to deal with some of the messed up or off the wall or snooty things that women be saying. Now, let me ask you this: do you see more of them getting wilding out on the guys, or do you see more of the guys wilding out on the women?
I see a pretty good amount of men doing it too.
Okay, I've seen some. I have.
Yeah, because the one I was watching just threw me for a loop. The guy who got exposed for, he was saying that he was on a private jet when he wasn't really on a private jet. Like Arlette and her husband did. They do these shows where they check on some of the past people that have been on the show.
Right.
And there was one guy in particular, the one that was exposed for being he said he was on a private jet when they called him to check on him, but he was actually on a staged private jet.
I've heard of those.
Like it was
I've heard of
yeah,
those.
man, I'm gonna send you it. That is it's so crazy, but like he went in on, because he couldn't deal with rejection. He was just like, okay, do you think you the type of woman that I should be seen with? Like, do you think that you? Yeah, like he was just. I was like, wow, you just Okay. Like, you can't deal with rejection, but you came on this show knowing that there's going to be rejection. Like, people aren't going to flock to you just because you throw around that you got a lot of money.
Right. I've seen that.
You know.
Yeah. I've seen.
But I mean, I've seen that, and then I've seen the women who are like, oh no, he's too short, or you know, like no, he seems like he's too like goody two shoes, like that, you know, just a little. But these are the types of men you want to have. That's what I was going back to. I'm gonna go back to what I said before. They want that man that has that Future
look
type. He looks like Future, but he acts like Russell.
Right.
You know, like you ain't gonna, you're not gonna always get that.
Right. Okay, so that's true.
Yeah, that show is hilarious though, because some of the stuff that I see is I'm like, you really popped your balloon for that.
It's just a show I just can't seem to get past. Like, why do y'all still keep going on this show? But even with that, you know, it kind of just...
It is entertaining.
Is it really, though?
It is. It's entertaining to me. You know, people get on there and you see the different personalities. You see the different personalities, and it's entertaining to me.
Right. I mean, yeah, there have been some funny moments on there, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
even with that, right, and that just goes to show like some of the wild things that people say, like, even though I don't know if they're saying that to get their quick little 15 minutes of fame, or they really think this way. And that's where I be having, I guess, my issues sometimes when it comes down to all of this, because it's already hard enough trying to be a man, you know? You got to get up every day. You got to thug it out. Nobody's coming to save you. We all know that. You know, and you got to do so much just try to keep yourself up. You know, go to the gym. You got to read more books, learn a trade, build a business, learn new skills, improve your finances, improve your health, improve your mindset, focus on your purpose, protect your peace. You know, be better than what you was yesterday. You know, all that, and I'm being honest with you, that literally goes to my brain all day, every day. Like, I got to do something better, right? But it's a lot of pressure, you know? And the reason why I brought up the whole pop the balloon, you know, show, because, you know, a lot of men, you know, they probably might feel a little pressure going on this show because they actually, you know, hope to find somebody. But then you walk into a room and then you got all these women, and they're beautiful, by the way, but they just pop their balloons off of absurd. Oh, you're short, you're bald headed, you ain't got no beard, or stuff like that. It's like, yo, first of all, let's take a couple steps back here, okay? Because, you know, it's already hard enough trying to be a man that focuses on himself and, you know, gets his life balanced. Now all of a sudden I gotta hear this type of disrespect. I gotta deal with this. They still trying to figure out dating. Go ahead.
I mean, but to be fair, they weren't made to go on the show. Like, they weren't pressured to go on the show. They actually chose to go on the show.
That's true.
So you have to know going in, I may not find anyone by going to this show.
Of course.
And a lot of the times, there's no matches made on the show. So you got to know that, you have to know that there's going to be a chance that you can go on the show. You may be able to find your person. You may not be able to find your person. You may find your person for the moment. You may find your next person for a lifetime. But you made the choice to go on there, so we can't make that excuse. Oh, you got to deal with the rejection again, because you're gonna have to deal with rejection regardless if you go on the show or not.
Right.
You know, so I don't want to, you know, make up any excuses for anybody. But that's what they chose to do. They chose to go on that show.
Right. That's true. But hey, you know, I give them props for even having the courage to do it, because I know I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
For real.
No, seriously.
even with like I was saying, dealing with their own mental health and everything, and having to see how sometimes the world ain't forgiving, because like I said, we get blamed for everything.
Mm.
Everything's somehow our fault, even though you might trip on your shoelaces just because a man invented them shoelaces. It's my fault. You're like, I don't even know you. And even going back to that gym culture, right? And wanting to speak on that, because I know at one point, I don't know if you heard about this, but a lot of women were complaining that men were trying to walk up to them and talk to them while they was in the gym, or maybe looking their way because of what they're wearing and stuff like that. So it got to the point, right? And I've seen this myself, and I even do this myself. Like when I go to the gym, because sometimes I'll see one, I guess, social media influencer. She'll have her tripod set up with her phone, record her whatever's. I'll make sure to go around. No eye contact. I ain't even looking that direction because I don't want her trying to put me on blast on social media or something. But I see that even when I go to the gym, right? And I'm like, man, that is really bad. And it got really bad to the point where sometimes you would maybe see how a woman might be struggling, but ain't nobody trying to help her. It's like, nah, man, I ain't trying to, be put out like that. Like I'm trying to be a creep or something. And I remember there was even a wild story where this woman, she somehow, I forget the story, I forget how she did it, but she dropped one of the weights on her foot and it broke her toe.
Oh. And
because none of the men around her helped her, they ended up I believe they canceled his membership to the gym and kicked him out. I was like,
wow.
How does that make sense?
Wow.
It's like, wait, I'm getting kicked out of the gym because she broke her toe?
That's crazy.
I was like, first of all, I don't even work here. So how is that my fault? Why didn't she get a personal trainer or something? Like,
right.
Like, wait a minute.
That's not up to another member to help you out.
Just can't win.
That's crazy.
Just can't win. Shoot, man. So it's like, yo, it's already hard enough trying to deal with our own, mental health issues and everyday life. Now you got stuff like this. Like, come on now.
Ooh, Lord.
Like,
a lot.
It is a lot, and hey, I get it. Women, y'all deal with a lot too. I'm pretty sure y'all life is just as worse and dangerous, if not. And just quick shout out to the ladies real quick.
Thank you.
Of course, staying out the way and being safe out here. You know what I'm saying? So, but so got a couple questions I want to ask you, right? And I want to see how maybe you might feel about it. Not a debate or nothing, but we can maybe debate them if you feel that way. And if you have any questions you want to ask me, hey, feel free to ask me, okay?
Okay.
Word. All right. So, all right, first one. What do you think society misunderstands most about men?
That they're human.
Okay. I like that one. Okay.
Yeah, I think the misconception is that men can take on so much that they're almost robotic.
Right.
That's a part that I'm just like, I don't like how people look to men to not be human. I don't like when people just jump to, oh, you're gay because you're showing emotion. That does not make that man gay. He has feelings too.
That's right.
So I think that the biggest thing that I think society assumes about men is that they are not human. Like it's gross, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're expected to keep the world going. Even though I'm hearing now it's a ladies run the world now. So
I mean, we do though, but
Of course. I mean, y'all, come on, man. We need y'all. You know what I'm saying? We need y'all.
we need each other.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad
But
that
I mean, without a woman, let's be real.
For sure.
Let's be real now. Let's be 100% real.
For sure.
Without a woman, no one exists.
That's true. Y'all are Mother Earths. Of course.
So,
most
shout
definitely.
out to the women.
Hey, one more
Because
time.
we do this.
Hey, one more
We
time.
do this
Yeah, y'all.
all day, every day.
Yeah, y'all. I gotta give it to y'all for real, man. I be watching those them TikTok videos where y'all be where I be seeing the men who be putting on the what's some things called, the cramp simulators.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. I don't know if them things even. I would want to do one of those simulators just to see if it comes even close.
Hey.
Cause man, yes, it's painful, but it's levels to it. It's definitely levels to it.
I'm gonna tell you, Brooklyn and her significant other, they actually recorded a video of them both doing it.
Oh, okay.
It's on TikTok. Very funny. I'll make sure to shoot it to you once we get done with this.
Yes, please do.
Most definitely. Most definitely. But yes, you're right. Yeah, you know, most people think that most women think we should just keep going, that we're not human. We should be able to take on all the burdens, you know, we should be able to know how to cook, clean, build, forge, hunt, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, I see it all the time.
Right.
I see it all the time.
Yes.
And I tell my fiance,
Right.
please do not, like, I don't want him to feel like he doesn't have a safe space. If you feel like life is getting to be too much, express that.
That's okay. That's beautiful right there. I like that. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely express that. I mean, when he lost his dad some years back,
Condolences.
I think that because I didn't leave his side when that happened. And I think that he felt like he couldn't express himself because, and I don't know if it was because I was there or because he felt like he needed to be strong for his family, but the perception that crying doesn't make you strong, I hate that.
Okay.
I hate that. I had to keep telling him, if you gotta let it go, I want you to let it go. I want you to feel like you have to keep that built up. You know, I don't want you to build that anger up. Let it out. Let it go, because it's not healthy to build that stuff up or let it build up. You know, you have to release that. Our bodies can only handle so much.
Right. That's true.
So I absolutely give him the space to feel like he can have that safe space here. Like the home is definitely the safe space for him. If he don't feel like he has anywhere else that he can go, he can come right here and feel whatever he needs to feel. And I don't look at him no less of a man for having feelings or expressing any feelings. If anything, that makes me closer to him, because it lets me know that he looks to me to be a safe space for him.
Hey, that's beautiful right there. I like that. That's dope. That's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I feel like that's just dehumanizing men to not allow them that space. And every time if they feel like they have to cry, they feel like they're carrying too much weight on the world on their back, and they just release that how they feel to make them feel inferior. Is just that's not cool. It's really not cool. They're human too. Y'all are human too.
Right. Of course. You know, it starts at a young age. You know, of course, our parents always taught us,
course,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So there's always that pressure right there, of course. Like if you ain't doing enough, you ain't a man. You know? So even with the crying aspect, you know what I'm saying, you always was told not to cry, not to show emotions, not to show no type of anything, you know, stand 10 toes, you know, but sometimes, hey, you get to a breaking point. You know, there was some men who don't mind showing their emotions, and you know, hey, I applaud those. And others like, hey man, listen, while I'm out in the streets, you ain't seeing nothing. But when I get behind closed doors, that's a whole different story. So that's understandable, I guess, to a point. So all right, so we're gonna move on to question number 2. And well, you kind of answered question number 2, and then, you know, question number 2 is, do you think men feel comfortable being vulnerable today? Well, I guess it depends on who they're with, but I'll let you answer. It depends. Okay, it depends, because you know, after the story you just gave, you know, I see you know, he trusts you enough to be vulnerable, you know, but I be seeing some of these posts on Instagram, you know, and it's always this one post I come across. It says, you can tell it's a black woman who wrote this, but it says, black men, talk to us. We do care, you know. I'll go right into the comments, all the men like, nope. You're not finna use this against me later. I think not. And that's just the Shannon Sharp head shake. Nah. And I just be like, you know, I'll be thinking like, man, maybe there are something. Then I hate to say it, you know, you got the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the next. You're like, nah, you remember what happened last time, right? You're like, yeah, you're right. Nah, I'm cool. I don't want to share nothing. Somebody like, hey, how's your day? Mind your business. You don't ain't got to worry about that.
That's crazy.
Why you want to know so bad? You know?
That's wild.
So, but it just feels that bad, because, you know, we already know we can't be as vulnerable with women as we want to be, even though we know there is a small percentage, and I do mean barely 2 fingertips touching small percentage of women that are able to be, you know, emotionally intelligent and be able to be like, you know, talk to me, what's wrong, not get upset when you tell the truth about something, you know, you just vent your feelings, you know. You know, it's already hard enough going out into the world and having to keep things in, especially if you're a single man like me. I gotta just get up and deal with it. But, you know, just having to actually have somebody, you know, I guess it doesn't matter, you know, male or female, you know, a safe space for somebody, you know, somebody you trust that you can talk to. You know, that's kind of hard to find, since, you know, it seems like everybody always seems to have a hidden agenda, you know.
Yeah.
And even with the vulnerability of, you know, between a man and a woman, you know, it's always going to be that what if in the back of a man's head, like, you know, what if I do tell her this and then she go back and tell her family or something?
Yeah.
You know, or she have a laugh about it behind my back and go tell her friends, and then we get into an argument one day, she put it back in my face. You know, it's always going to be that what if. And I hate to say it, a lot of men have dealt with it. And, you know, it's always came up later, or, you know, it's always a jab at, you know, your shortcomings or something like that. So a lot of us like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm going to just keep it to myself. I'll just keep you on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah, that's sad.
That is a sad life to live, you know? And, you know, sometimes you just... and this is where the gym comes in. You know, sometimes you gotta just, you know, hit that gym, pump that iron, hit that treadmill, and, you know, just kind of sweat away whatever's eating at you, you know. Sucks, but, you know, sometimes that's life, because, you know, what else can you do?
Right.
But, you know, I just want to say a quick shout out to, like I said, the small amount, 2 fingertips barely touching amount of women that are, you know, emotionally intelligent enough to, you know, be a man's rock and everything. Shout out to you, Miss Nunu, as well. You know,
I appreciate it.
That's dope, you know what I'm saying? So now here's another question, right? Do you think men receive enough emotional support?
Not all the time, no.
Of course not. So you see that with your own eyes, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because that it goes back to what I just said. A lot of society feels like, or they view men as robots, like not human.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people they're surprised to see that some men actually have feelings.
Right.
So, and then when they express those feelings, then they got to be gay. Now, it's like a double-edged sword for a man. If you express the feelings, then you got to be gay. If you don't express the feelings, then you're not being real with yourself, and you're not being real with your partner, and you're not vulnerable, or being vulnerable enough to, for your partner to support you. Like it's one way or the other. It's just you're either gay or you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable with the person that you are with.
Emotionally invested.
So it's like which route, which avenue do you go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Can't be emotional nowadays, man. You got to put on a brave face, like I said before. Stand 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thug this shit out. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I guess that's why you see so many men nowadays are just like single, because I guess a lot of them feel like they would not be able to get that type of emotional support. And it's sad, because I'm pretty sure there are some out there that they wouldn't mind. There are some women out there who like I said before, are emotionally intelligent, but small percentage. And I guess it's a good thing to see, like I said, when I was mentioning the Black Manosphere, and how they have a lot of support groups, or you got a lot of them. They're like, hey man, listen, I'm throwing a Zoom call, jump on, let's talk, let's have a conversation, get it all out.
Yeah.
A woman to be emotionally invested in,
Yeah.
So somebody that understands me, that knows what I like, what I don't like, somebody that listens, respects me most of all. But like I said, it's kind of a hard thing to find right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, say, and like I said, shout out to you, because like I said, you hold them down. So
yes, sir.
yes, indeed. So all right. So what pressures do men carry that often go unnoticed? I'm just gonna say being a provider.
Yeah, I think that being, happens to be that sole provider for their family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're expected to be the provider.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was watching this thing. I watch Kendra too. Kendra does those little matchmaking things.
Kendra.
Yeah.
Kendra G.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And it was a guy that she had on there. That it was a video I was watching yesterday. I should have sent it to you. Next time I see these things, I just gotta send them to you.
Okay, I appreciate it.
But it was this guy yesterday. The way he spoke was just like, it was really direct.
Mm-hmm.
But he made a lot of sense with some of the things that he said. He said that men are. So he has 5 kids with 5 different women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so Kendra was asking him, what's the difference between a man? Why are women looked at differently than men who have multiple baby mamas? And he said, because the man is expected to take on taking care of all of these people. So if I got 5 kids and I get with a woman who has 5 kids, I got to take care of 10 plus people. Basically 12 people.
Okay.
Because he said 9 times out of 10, our baby daddies ain't shit. Like, And he said a lot of the time, I mean, she might have one supportive baby daddy. She might get lucky and have two.
Right.
But a lot of the time, she doesn't have that support. So I have to take on the burden of taking care of her and her kids, my kids, and me. Like, so he's like, that's the difference. And a woman's not expected to take on it. If I get with a woman and she has 5 kids and, you know, something was to happen to me, she ain't gonna take care of all of us.
Okay.
And she's not expected to.
Okay.
It's all on me. I gotta get up and do what I gotta do to provide for my family. So I feel like being the provider of the family, that's the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest pressures that a man has.
Okay. Yeah. That's well. Okay. When he said that, how did it make you feel?
I mean, I looked at it like I never really thought about that before.
Okay.
That's really some real shit, though.
That is.
Unless you find, because you sometimes you just gotta go through and search for the needle in the haystack to find a woman that would provide for all of those people, but she's not expected to.
That's true.
That's not an expectation of a woman to take on providing for her family. That's the man's job.
Mm-hmm. That's
quote
true.
unquote. So I'm like, damn, that's a harsh truth, but it's the truth. It's fact.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is yikes. I like the way he was able to just be just direct, straight to it, right? Straightforward to it.
He was very direct. He was very direct.
Yeah, that's whew. Okay, so hey, man.
And it was a little long clip. It was a long little clip, but it was, and they called him DL in the comments. And he let him have it. He let him have it, and it's because of the responses. See, when they don't get responses, the responses that they want or they feel that they should get, then somebody's got to be DL.
And that's one of the things I think men carry nowadays, because it's like whatever you say that goes against what per se a woman might feel, you're gay. So
yeah,
it goes right back to that. It's not a pressure, but I know after a while it's kind of like, listen, man.
And he was very, like I said, he was very articulate with every response that he had.
Mm-hmm.
But when they started saying that he was DL, and they were saying that he was abusive, and he's like, these bitches ain't never even met me.
Right.
They ain't never even met me. I ain't never put my hands on a woman. And to call them, let me clear this too. I want to be clear with this. Just because someone calls you an abuser doesn't mean that they're saying that you put your hands on women. You can be a verbally abusive person.
Well,
that's still an abuser.
Well, let's be honest. You know, most people don't go to the verbal part; they go straight to the physical.
Oh no, they're picking that up now. They're picking that up now.
Right.
They're picking that up now. I think that it's when someone says abuser, they just automatically think, oh, I physically abused.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a lot more that goes into that. You can be sexually abusive, you can be verbally abusive, you can be emotionally abusive, you can be other abusive.
That's true.
So, you know, that they may have been saying that, but I don't know. I guess because of the way he got aggressive when they started calling him DL. Mm-hmm. I think that brought something out of him, like, dude, y'all saying that I'm DL. He didn't give me any DL vibes. I just thought that he was just straightforward with his responses, and people were not, they weren't accepting of it.
Obviously not.
Yeah, they did not receive that very well. But me, on the other hand, I want you to be direct with me. Mm-hmm. So if I'm asking you something, it's because I want this, either because I want the truth or I already know the truth.
That's true.
So, you know, he just really he was like, nah, man, that's one thing we not gonna do is sit here and say I'm DL.
And that's and that's what I'm saying. That is beyond wild. Like, come on now. There are certain people who actually take that serious, like especially the abusive part. Like,
yeah,
you know, as wild as social media is, there are some real social media detectives on there, and they will find out where you live and possibly try to get you hemmed up or messed up, you know? And that's just wild right there. And I feel like that's another type of pressure men gotta deal with. Like, yo, why are you going online and spreading slanderous things about me? You don't even know me. But you know, that's just one of the many aspects. But you know, it's like you said before, just being a guy in general is enough. But I think one pressure is that most men often do. Well, I can honestly say myself, but we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to just be better. Like every day we try to wake up and, you know, shout out to my blue collar workers. I know a lot of us, we getting tired of this, so we're trying to go the entrepreneurship route. And between me having to work the days I work and then trying to come home, you know, work on the social media content, doing this podcast, and then getting up, doing it again, day in, day out. It gets tired, and you know, that pressure does start to build to where you be like, man, listen, man, I'm about to just shit. Yeah. But like you said before, sometimes you just have no choice but to keep going. Now, of course, granted, they also always say, yo, there's nothing wrong with taking some days, taking some time off, recouping, you know, what is it, mental health day? Things like that.
Yeah.
You know, doing whatever you can to not, you know, go overboard and just, you know, blow a head gasket. And it's a lot of us that are going through that right now because, you know, some of us, including myself, feel like if we would have known a lot of this information when we was younger, you know, there's no telling where we'd be at right now. You know? Man,
you ain't said nothing, man.
Right. Like, just go online. You got a 22-year-old, got a whole mansion, 3 Lambos, and I'm like, bro, I gotta get up every day and do this shit.
Let me go start up my Nissan and
right. And go yell at traffic for 45 minutes. Right. You know. So, you know, it's also that, and being honest, like a lot of brothers feel like, you know, if they're not as successful, they might not find a good woman, you know. And that's
I hate that for them. I hate for them to have to feel that way.
Yeah, you know, it's because hey, like I said before, there's a huge group of men who, you know, want that type of life. They want to be married. They want to come home to a wife and kids that are theirs. And they
right, not to say that part.
Right. you know, the whole nice house, dog, nice cars, y'all going on family vacations, you know, the whole life, you know. But of course, a lot of them like, yo, you know, I'm making good for myself, but I want to be able to be at a point where I can have my wife stay at home and just take care of the kids and hold down the crib, and I can just hold down everything else, you know.
If she wants that.
That, of course, that is if she does want that. But of course, if she is a woman that wants her own career and she's worth investing in, hey, you know, most men would not mind. Like, yeah, of course, let's tell me what you need. I got you. You know, they're looking for a partner. It ain't always about just going 50-50, but, you know, actually finding somebody that like, yo, I'm trying to build, you trying to build with me. Let's do this the right way. Of course, it's gonna be bumps and bruises on the road, but you know, of course, once we make it to that finish line, or once we make it to that first part, you know, hey, we've done it.
Right.
You know, and I think that's a lot of pressure with a lot of men nowadays too. Like, of course, you know, you might be working a good job, you know, you might have all your ducks in a row and have your life somewhat in control, but of course, you know, some women might not like that, you know.
Right. They want the already built product. They want the finished product.
There you go.
Not the product that's in progress.
There you go. You know, they want to wait for you at the finish line.
Yeah.
So, you know, some brothers do wake up with that type of pressure, like, no, I know I could be doing better. I know I could be doing this. I know I could be doing that. Just, you know, if I could just get this, you know, it starts to build up on them. So I get it.
Yeah.
and this economy ain't no better right now. So I know, you know, a lot of people going through it, both men and women. But you know, you being a man, especially if you got kids, you know, you got a wife, or even if you just by yourself, you know, just want to be able to afford a life where you can have fun and get the things you want and do the things you want without having to do so much, you know. So
right,
you know, it comes with it. And hey, I have my moments where I be like that too, as I just stated. But you know, gotta take a mental health day, reset, refocus, get right, you know.
right.
So do you think social media paints an accurate picture of men?
Not a lot of the time.
Okay.
Not a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But I feel like, because I hate when people say social media it's not real. It's not real. It's not real life. Yes, the fuck it is. There's people who do things on social media that, okay, yeah, that's a facade. I can understand that. Right. That might be a facade. But when you got people in their responses to things on social media, it's absolutely real life.
Right.
That's totally how they feel about whatever the subject is.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a question asked and a man, okay, let's do this. Men be getting into it with, there's some men who get into it with women on social media.
Oh yeah.
As a man, why are you going back and forth with a woman on social media?
I asked the same question.
That is an accurate picture of a man when he goes back and forth with a woman on Facebook. Or any platform.
Oh.
But no, now I get the question, but I just wanted to point that part out.
Okay.
Social media does not a lot of the times paint an accurate picture of a man, but a man on social media and how he reacts and how he interacts with different people, especially women, is him painting an accurate picture of himself.
Ooh. Y'all heard what she said now. Y'all heard. I said this before, fellas. I said this before. We don't need to be in these comments arguing with these women all day, going back and forth. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a turn off.
Yeah, I get it. It's hey, I was saying this before, like in the first episode for season 2. I was like, why are we still arguing in the comments with these women? Like,
you don't even know. You don't even know what's this woman.
Right. Nobody. You know? Like, who is like, I get it. Sometimes you want to let them know, like, listen, maybe you didn't understand what I was saying, so let me break it down for you. You know, I can understand that, but when you just kind of verbally attacking and going back and forth, okay, now we have an issue.
Right.
Like, you're painting yourself in these comments, you know.
Yeah.
Now, as far as social media and how they portray men, okay, should I say men or black men in general? Because
I say black men.
Yeah, because let's just be honest here. Like, you know, we've been getting a lot of coverage as of lately, and
right.
Now, one thing I can say is to that question, there are pages, black pages on social media. Some of the pages, Black Excellence, Blackness Succeeds, and the list goes on. They love pushing the positive views of black men, especially when they do the black men in the suits. And or they'll say, well, of course, with it being men's mental health month, you know, they'll say, as a black man, what would you say to another black man? And they'll say words of encouragement, you know, saying, black man, it's okay to cry, black man, it's okay to work on yourself, you know, don't ever stop, keep going, you know, things like that. So it's good to see that, you know, it's good to see other pages posting fathers with their kids. You know, those that are fighting to see their kids after their baby moms are being bitter. You know, a lot of the brothers that are out here with the high GPAs, and of course, same with the women too as well. Shout out to y'all as well. But seeing them post a lot of the excellence of what they're doing, whether they're being entrepreneurs, whether they built something, whether they invented something. You know, I like to see pages like that push that. But of course, it's always the negative that always seems to do the most damage. So it's kind of like up and down, because I sometimes ask myself, like, you know, thinking from, if I was like per se Caucasian, would I be seeing the same amount of crazy stuff that they post about black men? Would I see the same amount about for, you know, white men as well? Same with the Asian community, the Brazilian community, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Every single race has their bad apples and bad seeds, you know. But
yeah, of course.
You know, I just think with us as black men, we've already been painted in a bad spotlight for years. You know, like you said, with some of the stuff that people say about us, either this BL, gay, abusive, always doing this, always doing that. Of course, like I said, get blamed for everything. So it's already hard enough when you just trying to exist as a black man without already being
targeted.
Not even targeted, but they're already making it seem like you're the same as every black man walking on this planet Earth. The words coming to me was not, but you
stereotype.
See, there you go, stereotyped. You know, you already being stereotyped, because you know that, what's that notion? All niggas ain't shit.
Oh God.
And you know, it's always that rebuttal. Well, have you dated all these things? You know,
man,
and then start something.
That's what we get me, Lord. Because I came across a post today where somebody said they hate Capricorns, and I'm like, bitch, we don't care. You don't even know all of us.
Right.
You come across not even a quarter of the amount of zodiac that you grouped all of us into. But you dealt with a few Capricorns, and now you hate us. And we couldn't give a shit. They do the same thing when they talk about who they dating. All these bitches are the same.
There you go.
All these niggas are the same.
There you go.
No, it's what you are attracting to yourself, because you ain't shit.
Ooh. You have got to, if you want something, you have got to emit whatever you want out into the universe, so that they can reciprocate that and bring to you the type of person that you're looking for. So
that's how that works.
So,
but if you steady saying, "Oh, these bitches ain't shit," all these niggas ain't shit,
right?
That's what you gonna get.
There you go. Okay. Hey, once again, Nunu hitting y'all with facts. All right. She said it out of her own mouth. I said this. That's I got hanged. I was stabbed at the cross with that.
I mean, you know, people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want. They want to hear the truth. They say they want to hear the truth, but they don't want to hear the truth.
Well,
and that's what it actually is. Like true. You can't be saying. I mean, you've got to look at the facts. If all you are getting is ain't shit people,
right?
It's because that's what your mind is on, and that's what your mouth is saying. True. That's what your mouth is saying. You're speaking that out.
Putting that out there in the universe.
People don't understand the power that the tongue packs. Like, you have got to speak what you want, and you have to believe that you are capable of getting what you want, and that will bring what you want.
There you go.
That's what people want to know. That goes back to last week. People want to know what Sierra's prayer was. Sierra put out into the universe the type of man that she wanted, because she didn't want to keep going through these situations where she had ran into the 50s and the Futures and the Bow Wows. She didn't want to keep running into that.
Mm-hmm.
So she put out there what it was that she wanted, and she got the man that she wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what Sierra's prayer was. It was her being intentional and saying, this is the type of man that I want for me and my son. And she got exactly that.
That's facts. That's facts. She did. She most definitely did. You know, hey, shout out to Russell Wilson and Sierra Wilson. Facts.
Big time. Because they, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but what they show us is love.
Yeah, she seems very happy.
Love.
Yeah, she's very happy. You know what I'm saying? And that stirred up a little controversy within the manosphere too. But that's a conversation for another day.
You gonna be mad because somebody happy? All right, okay. What's
Right.
the next question?
Hey. I was like, ooh, this is getting kind of crazy up in these comments, but let me get back out of here. So, okay.
Hey.
Well, let me see. The next question is, well, you kind of already answered this. We've already answered this right now. So I'll skip this one. It was, why do you think so many men stay silent when they're hurting? But of course, we answered that because they need a safe space to talk to.
They don't have that backing. They don't have that support.
Not at all. So, they gotta just, sometimes they gotta hit the gym, like I said, or, find outlets, hopefully not dangerous.
Right.
Outlets to
Don't
where
go
they can
out and
talk.
shoot nobody.
Huh?
I said, don't go out and shoot nobody.
Man, listen. Hey. Yeah, I already had enough of that going on for a while.
I mean, I'm trying to tell you.
Ooh, shit. Okay, this might be a good question right here. I don't know. Let me see. What do you think good men struggle with the most right now?
Ooh. I mean, I kind of answered that before too. I think they struggle with finding someone supportive. I really think that they struggle with finding someone who will accept them as they are, accept them in the process or the stage that they're in life. Because many of these women, especially where we are in Atlanta, they want to be checked. So they want the finished product.
Right.
They don't want to go through that process. So, and I've run across a lot of them.
Really?
I'm like, damn, I'm like, damn, you just come out the gate and you just start talking to a nigga talking about, hey, my phone bill due. What?
Oh.
I'm not paying your phone bill, bro. This is our first conversation. Like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah, they want someone to take care of them right out the gate. They don't want to go through the getting to know you stage. And I remember the what's your favorite color in those conversations.
Yeah, not no more.
Not no more.
What they say their favorite color is? Green.
Shit, money.
Right.
Just green.
Shit.
Yeah, they want that right out the gate. I'm like, wow.
That's true. I think a lot of good men struggle with actually just being a good man. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one. I can agree with that.
That takes a lot of character right there. You really trying to hone in on your skills. You really trying to put your life together, like, piece by piece by yourself. You're not going to get too much outside help, and there's very few people you can trust, because you got to do this by yourself, because you see your vision, and if other people see your vision, hey, come on with me. But if not, who cares? But even that, when it comes down to the dating aspect too, because you could be a genuinely good dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm just gonna go to the store real quick, I'll come back. You get back, who you go see? I just told you I went to the store. Like, they expect, like, you might get into a relationship with a woman who expects you to lie every single time. You're like, yo, I just
right.
Like, you have true and pure intentions, but it's just like, since this person has been dealing with chaos, it just kind of comes back and, like, just gets on your nerves a little bit. And you having to deal with, you know, people kind of looking at you funny because,
Yeah.
like you said, on the Pop the Balloon, right? And I'm glad I brought up this show because there was a reason why I brought up this show because I knew it was going to deal with some of these questions. When you said one of the women popped her balloon because she said the guy was too goody-goody.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is when you hear that, and it's infuriating. You go online and you be seeing all these posts from these women. Oh, I want to find me a good man and X, Y, Z. You like, yeah, I'm right here, baby. What's up?
Nah, you just friend material.
Right. So, you know, you just like, you spend so it's okay. I want to say it kind of is the same for both sides. Like, I see where the women, they do so much to put themselves together as well, you know, stay away from the drama and the madness and continue to be, you know, who they are, and they end up meeting the wrong person, kind of messes their life up. You know, the same can be said for a lot of guys. Like, you know, you're trying so hard to put yourself together and just be a righteous person and be able to, you know, reach your goals and, you know, be a sustainable person, and then you just meet that one person that just comes in and just obliterates everything for you, you know?
Yeah.
So from there, it's like, dang, man, you know, you start doubting yourself, like, yo, do I need to keep being a good person? Do I need to keep being a good dude? Do I need to be like, you know, some of these other guys out here and be an asshole? But I think that's just one of the hardest things right there, like continuing to stay down that path, because sometimes you just be ready, you know, say, forget it.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, if that's who you genuinely are, should nobody change that. But I understand the change that comes because you just get so tired of being screwed over, and you get tired of people taking your kindness for a weakness. But you can't take that into the next situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to give that person their fair opportunity, just like you gave the rest their fair opportunity. I think that it should be that becoming not an asshole, but like, I don't want to say that, but like, being taken out of your character should come with, okay, I gave you the opportunity to get to know the person that I am, and you're trying to take advantage of it. So now here we go. Here's the asshole. Like, you know, I feel like that should be given. That everybody deserves their opportunity to show you that they're gonna match your good until they don't.
That's true. That's true. You know what? I might even get a little personal on this one. I'm gonna say this right. So it's funny. It's funny, right? But you know, most people that know me, you know, they say, "Man, yeah, you a good dude," and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, man, I be trying, man. But sometimes people be trying me on the road, and I gotta show them who I am, you know. So it was a brief time where, like I said, when I got into this whole red pill manosphere thing, you know, I was like, you know what? I need to take a break from dating. That's what I need to do. I need to focus on myself, get my brain right, get my mentals right, get my body right, get my health right, get right. So, you know, along the way, sometimes I would meet other women, you know, we'll talk, get to know. I'm honest, like, hey, listen, I'm not really looking for all that right now. You know, I just got out of a wild situation. I'm just trying to work on myself, get myself back right, you know, rebuild from scratch. So, you know, keep getting to know each other and talking. You know, they keep pressing about dating. I'm like, no, once again, I'm not looking for that. And out of nowhere, I am a toxic asshole because I don't want to date, or I wasted their time. Or I'm like, listen, I told you so many times what's going on right now. Right now, I'm not looking for that, all right? I just got out of whatever amount of years relationship. I'm focusing on me right now, and I'm trying to, you know, work on myself. So, you know, I'm sorry, but that's not what I'm looking for. And it's like, that's...
that's you misled them, Mike. You misled them.
I didn't mislead nobody. I told the truth. And I say this because I've met other brothers like me too, in the same boat, same predicament. They're like, yeah, man, you know, I just got out of this wild situation, you know, opening up, talk to each other, and then boom, they were like, yeah, man, I met somebody, like, we were cool and all, but I was honest, and then out of nowhere, I'm this and I'm that, I'm weak. I'm possibly gay. I'm just like,
Oh,
bro.
God. I always gotta be that.
It's like, hey man, I get it. I'm understanding of it, you know. So I get it. You know, it's hard trying to be a good dude out here, but also, you know, making sure you're taking care of yourself. You know, so
Yeah.
and I think that leads us into our next question. It's like, do you think society sometimes gets uncomfortable when men stop seeking approval and start focusing on themselves?
Yeah, yeah. I think that does make society uncomfortable.
Really?
Yep. Because men are supposed to always be looking for something. They're always supposed to be looking for the I don't want to say approval, but they're always supposed to be seeking validation from the opposite sex or whoever they're attracted to.
Right.
Okay. And when they stop doing that, then it's like, now we got to put some type of label on that person. It's got to be something going on with this person. Oh, they have to be they have to be gay, or you know, they have to be. Something that's mentally off with them because they're not seeking validation from me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. When I sometimes think about it, like, social media, of course, has a gigantic role in this, and that being, of course, you know, a lot of people were going online and showing how flashy their lifestyle was. Like you said, the guy who did the fake private jet, prop, yeah, stuff like that. You know, getting these cars, these Lambos, stuff, just renting them for the day and taking it back. You know, trying to show off, you know, and of course, you know, a lot of that calmed down due to a lot of these guys either getting robbed or, you know, unfortunately losing their lives. But one thing a lot of gurus, I want to say, preached, the right gurus, I'll say, preached when it came down to the whole black manosphere is like, one thing we have to stop doing is seeking so much approval from people. Right. Because in the end, this is our road we're taking. This is our path. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to seek approval. We're not trying to seek an audience. There doesn't need to be an audience. This is something we need for ourselves to focus, lock in on, and be able to, you know, see how far we can take it. And for one, you know, I don't think too many men like to be flashy because, of course, we're not seeking nobody's approval. You know, we're living our own life right now. We're living life on our own terms and how we want to live it. Right. One thing I do remember, there was a time where I want to say it was like a pissing contest, you could say. Like a pissing contest, as they used to call it. Like trying to show off, you know, how big bad you was, you know, how much money you had, your car, how bad your woman was, things like that. You know, it's like your life is basically out there. People know you now, so now everybody got their hand in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when it also came down to it, you know, a lot of brothers start asking themselves, like, wait, why am I seeking the approval of a woman right now? Like, and understand what I'm about to say, okay? I'm not trying to make it frame no other type of way, but I was trying to say, when it comes down to it, when it comes down to you, a lot of the times, what was always the number one question asked when it came down to, you know, a man asking a woman something?
A man asking a woman something?
Yeah. What do you bring to the table?
Oh, shit.
Right. They always ask that same question. What do you bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? What can you do for me that'll make my life, you know, a little bit more smoother, a little bit easier, you know? So that's why I was saying, like, well, wait a minute. When I guess a lot of brothers started saying that, like, yo, you gotta understand something. With or without you, my life will continue. All right. And I know that sounds like a very kind of messed up thing to say, right? But it's brutally honest.
It is brutally honest.
You know what I'm saying? If I did this and built all this without you, I can still do it without you.
Mm.
And I think that's where it comes down to, like, now I guess sometimes a lot of women feel like men are just trying to be chased. It's like, no, I'm not trying to be chased. I want to understand if you are going to fit into the frame of my life. Like, are you going to be an investment or a hindrance?
Mm.
You know?
I get it.
I know it I don't know if the way I said it might have kind of like hit you hard.
It didn't hit me hard.
Okay.
But, I mean, you know, I understand. I understand it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just want to be sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's why I was just like, yo, they start seeking the approval of other people and, of course, the approval of women. It's like, yo, man, it is what it is. Life going to continue with or without you.
Mm.
So, you know, there's this, what is that? The male loneliness epidemic and the female loneliness epidemic going on right now. And, you know, one side is blaming the other side, but, you know, that's another story for another day.
Always a finger pointing.
Well, there you go. So, okay, well, we kind of already answered number 9 too. What do you think men wish women understood about them?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think women understand about men that doesn't get acknowledged enough?
I think that women understand that. I think women understand. No, I don't think they understand that either.
Oh no.
No. What I was gonna say is women, and I really can only go off of what I understand. But you know, a lot of women aren't able to be logical with their thinking, so it's kind of hard to, you know. I don't want to say what I understand that doesn't get acknowledged enough. But what I was gonna say is women understand that they can't really understand what it's like to be a black man in America. But,
okay.
But
okay,
I don't want to say that because from what I see, a lot of them don't understand that. They think that it's harder to be a black woman in America because there's not just that one minority, it's two with us.
Okay.
Being black and a woman. Okay. So they think that it's harder to be a black woman in America than it is to be a black man in America. But that's not necessarily true. So I don't want to. That's another conversation for another day.
Okay.
I honestly don't know. I don't know what women understand about men, because it almost seems like there's no understanding of each other, period. Like that.
Okay.
Black women don't understand what it's like to be a black man. Black men don't understand what it's like to be a black woman. So I don't know. That question is that's a hard one for me.
That is. Well, you kind of maybe answered it, you know, because y'all don't understand what it's like to be in our shoes, you know. Like,
no, I don't think so.
And we don't understand what it's like to be in your shoes, you know.
No.
We both carry separate burdens, you know. One person,
right.
You know, one side could say our burdens are heavier than the others, you know, but I guess coming from a man's point of view, when it comes down to it, we already know, but what we don't think y'all understand is, and I said this before, and you might understand it, but a lot of women don't understand it. But at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save us as a man. We are literally going to have to do this by ourselves, no matter what. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Huh? Oh yeah.
I do have a question off of that.
Okay.
You don't think that the black woman would come to save the black man?
In today's day and time?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I do.
You do.
I do.
To a very
maybe not. I'm not speaking for the women the black women as a whole.
Okay.
Because there are some black women, a lot of black women actually, that are hell bent on being angry with the black man.
Yes.
But there are a group, and I mean, I'm talking about more than a handful of black women that would absolutely come to the rescue of a black man, and I've seen it with my own eyes.
Really?
When the George Floyd situation went down?
Yes, I remember that. I do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen posts where there were the black civilians who were they were like picketing and they were just, you know, basically trying to
raise awareness.
What is it that they do when they were protesting?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a powerful picture. I still see it so vividly in my mind. So there was a separation of the protesters on one side, there was the police on the other side, and in the middle it was a black woman kneeled down, and she was facing the police officers.
Okay.
And I'm like, see, that's the type of shit that I love to see. A black woman coming to the rescue of the black man. There are definitely a lot of black women who would come to the rescue for their black men. As long as they feel like their black men that they're coming, like for my sons, for my fiance, for my uncles, for my father, for my bonus dad, and for my male friends that I'm talking about, my male friends who I've been down with. You're one of them.
Oh, thank you.
If any of my close black male friends or family members need me to come to the rescue, I'm there, because I know that y'all gonna be there for me.
That's dope.
So there are some black women that will absolutely come to the rescue and save their black men. And I a lot of the time, this is why I've been called a female misogynist. Because there's a lot of shit that I call out that women do that I don't agree with.
Word.
But on that same coin, flip it. If they're not in the right, I'm gonna come from my black women and save my black women too.
Of course.
But
yes.
There's definitely some black women out here who will come to the rescue for their black men, as long as they know that those black men are going to do the same for them.
Yeah, that's facts. Okay. Now, when I said no, I didn't. That was like the devil's advocate when I said no. One side was saying yes, another side was saying no. And it's always going to be that wrestling back and forth of, okay, listen, man, I remember these women over here was trying to be my downfall, and I got these women over here that was trying to look out for me. So it's kind of like the flip of a coin, like you said before. Because, you know, as a whole, we can't even, you know, come together and just have a good time. So
that's just sad.
That's sad. It's very sad, you know? And that's why I kind of said no, because it's like, right now, today's day and age, of course, with this economy and this crazy president that we got, it's more like everybody's back on survival mode. Every man for himself. Every man and woman for himself. You know? And I get it. At a varying degree, I get it, because, yeah, it's hard out here, especially if you have a family to take care of. But with us constantly arguing about the same things, and it's a beautiful thing to see both sides calling out both sides. You know, black men like, hey man, we need to knock this off, stop this and stop that. Then of course you get to the black women, but then I feel like it's much more pushback when it come down to y'all side, and that's why the no was like, nah, bro, you've seen, you know, what's been put out there and what's been posted, and how a lot of them are feeling. Like, you know, you might wake up tomorrow and they say, oh, Cardi B got back with Offset and he already done cheated on her. Boom.
No, Lord.
Here we go. We back at it again. So it's like, you know, it's the flip of a coin, you know, and it's scary because I wanted to say yes because it always takes me back to the days of the Black Panthers. Watching how close black men and black women were.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't matter if you were dark skin, light skin, it didn't matter. You were down with the cause,
Right.
we're together. You know?
Yeah.
And hearing how a lot of these men, you know, were able to teach a lot of these women the philosophies, and of course them also saying, you know, also make sure you think within your own free range of thinking as well, and them coming out and saying some of the most eloquent things I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. They're together in this, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no I'm this and you that. It's like, yo, we in this together,
Right.
all right? But as long as you trust and follow my lead, I got us, you know?
Right.
And I get it. It's never going to be like that again, you know? But that's what I think about when I say us actually come together and being like, you got my back, I got your back, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
that's why I also said said yes, because, you know, my mind went back to that. So I don't, you know, hey, I guess time will tell, because eventually something's going to happen to where we ain't got no choice but to come together, you know?
Yeah.
So I hate to say it like that. I ain't trying to be dark or nothing, but, you know, we all know what it is.
No, it is what it is. I mean, the times they're unfolding. Like we see what could come. That so it's not far fetched or dark to, you know, say something like that. And I hate that it would have to come down to that for us to come together, but that's pretty much what it looks like is where we're heading.
Right. So, hey, you know, y'all gonna hear the real on this Midnight Echo, all right? So y'all better get ready. That's all I got to say. It might get dark, but yo, that's the truth, man. Like we really gotta put a lot of this behind us, and, you know, just get over it. As simple as that. Just get over it.
Right.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I guess before we get up out of here, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this for everybody, or Men's Mental Health Month, to my fellas. Hey, there's nothing wrong with reaching out, asking for help. Nothing wrong with seeking help as well. Whether it's, you know, you go to therapy or talk to a psychologist, or even if you find your own ways, whether it's going to the gym, which is not gay, by the way.
It is not. It's coming from a woman
it's not
who has some sense about herself. That is not gay
at all. Don't let social media fool you. I mean, of course, we all know it ain't, but, you know, just for them to just be coming out the woodwork saying that as well.
Right.
That is crazy. But also, just know, you know what I'm saying, brother to brother, I want to see you doing better with your life, and I also wish you the best out here. So big shout out to everybody, you know, doing what they need to do for their mental health, all right?
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and, I guess, get ready to wrap this up. So before we go, we're going to go ahead and drop them socials. So Miss Nunu, guess first.
All right. So, you know, we got the podcast, Naked to the Core.
Yes, indeed.
I'll put those socials out first. We are Naked to the Core on all platforms. It's not the regular way of spelling naked. It's NAKID, the number 2, DACORE. And that's on all platforms. That's on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. And of course, my personals. I am Nunu MUA on Instagram. I forgot how I have my name set up on there. Actually, there's an underscore. I mean, I think there's a period somewhere. I don't.
Yeah, it's actually
it's
a period.
like it's Nunu.MUA. And then my business, my personal business, my business page, I told y'all it's late. My business page for my makeup, and that's the Nunu look. Nunu is New.
Okay.
So,
and like I said before, she's fired with the makeup. All right, we just want to go kick her door down. So
thank you.
Yes, indeed. So let me go ahead and get ready to drop all my socials. It's a whole lot of them too, because y'all gonna find me on these socials, god dog. All right, so you gonna find me on Instagram as What's Good Fam _podcast. That's What's Good Fam _podcast. You're gonna find me on X, formerly known as Twitter. I still can't believe he changed it to X. All right, X is What's Good Fam Entertainment. That's What's Good Fam Entertainment. You can also find me on TikTok. Now the TikTok, it's What's Good Fam T.M.E. What's Good Fam T.M.E. All right, so y'all make sure to look that up. All right. Also find me on Facebook as What's Good Fam podcast page. What's Good Fam podcast page. And my threads is connected to my Instagram as well. So, make sure y'all follow me on all socials. I also drop the episodes on YouTube as well. All right. So y'all find me on YouTube. What's Good Fam, the Midnight Echo. All right. So, hey, I want to thank everybody that stopped by and listened. I see we had a couple listens, but they all kind of got out at the last minute. It's all good. Shout out to y'all, by the way, for stopping by and checking us out. Hey, I want to say thanks for everybody that stopped by. And to Miss Nunu, thank you once again for stopping by and jumping on the show.
Thank you for having me again.
I'm sorry it's so late, but next time I'm gonna get you right, all
right? Okay, thank you, because I'm no longer a night owl.
Hey, boo. All my night owls, ooh. And I'm just playing. I get it, man. That's life, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm about this midnight life. Vamp life. Let's go.
Right. Okay, man.
All right. And this wraps up the latest episode for What's Good Fam, the Midnight Echo, where thoughts don't sleep. Stay aware, stay focused, and stay grounded. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.